Your sales isn't broken because you can't sell. It's broken because you never get to. In 2025, most founders are spending 70% of their sales time on everything except sales. I know we talk to some and they say over 80%. They're trapped in admin, drowning in CRMs, buried under tasks that AI could have probably handled yesterday. And I can say that with confidence after having spent years in big tech sales operations, as well as having sold through both of my companies and having helped other business owners automate their own. And this happens not because entrepreneurs or salespeople are lazy, but because the process is broken. Because they chase leads that won't convert, they miss replies that they paid to get, they fumble proposals, and they delay onboarding. And guess what? By the time you end up doing what you're supposed to do, the buyer moved on, while your follow-up was still in a draft folder. But that needs to change. I hope you agree with me. Because right now, a quiet revolution is happening in sales. And it's not about other or new or better CRMs. It's about intelligent agents who never sleep, never forget, and never ghost your leads. That's why in this video, I want to walk you through the 5 AI sales agents that not only some we've deployed for ourselves, but also for other clients. And you want to do this to reduce lead waste, to speed up deals, and to let real humans shine where they matter most. But before we move on, you might have noticed something different, and that is that parts of this video are being filmed with my new Insta360 Link 2 camera, which the Insta360 team have kindly allowed me to try. Even though, honestly, I've had my Link 1 for at least 3 years now. This is actually my second one because I lost my first one and I couldn't live without it, so I bought a second one. I'll come back to talk to you more about them later. So let's break it down. Most founders focus on the pitch, but successful ones, the better ones, they engineer the path. Sales in 2025 isn't just about what you say. It's, in my opinion, about what happens before and after you say it. Buyers are more informed, more distracted, and more allergic to friction than ever before. I'm sure you've seen that too. So that is why the old playbook fails, because of manual follow-ups and forgotten replies and copy-pasted proposals. Come on, put your hand up. I know you've done that too. And endless back and forth to book a meeting or a call. Meanwhile, you're chasing the perfect pitch, but the real problem, in my opinion, is that selling is no longer a performance. It's a system of micro decisions. And when those micro decisions are not clear, consistent, and timely, guess what happens? We lose deals that we could have won. What used to take a sales team, operations assistant, and heaven knows how many tools, now takes one well-orchestrated agent. Or 5, like in this video. This is not about removing the human, this is about removing the delay, because when the path is smooth, the pitch lands harder, more confidently. Real sales happen, in my opinion, between the moments. In the 27 silent hours between the first opt-in and the final yes. You don't need to work harder to close more. You need to stop leaking momentum between moments. Let me show you how you do that, starting with the first AI agent that I believe every sales team needs, even if you're a team of 1. So the first agent, we call it the buyer radar. Look, lead lists are dead. Smart systems don't need to hunt, they need to scan and filter. Most founders think they need more leads, at least this is what they tell us on the calls, but what they actually need is to stop chasing the wrong ones. Because not everyone who clicks a link or downloads a PDF or joins a webinar is ready to buy. However, most teams treat those leads the same, and then they wonder why results and revenue stall. They waste days following up with the curious instead of closing the committed. And that's why this AI agent is so critical for any business, because it doesn't guess. What it does is it uses data to scan your opt-in list, filter, study your highest converting clients, and then flag which leads are most likely to buy based on real behavior. It scores based on similarity. It flags warm signals like form fills or replies or return visits, and then recommends your next best move. This way, like I said, you stop wasting time on curious leads and then prioritize the ones that are ready to move on. Why would anyone want that? Well, because most businesses don't have a lead problem. Like I said, they have an attention allocation problem. And nowadays, I think attention is expensive. And wasting it on leads that will never convert, I mean, that's how businesses bleed potential. Because if your best prospects are buried in a sea of cold ones, you end up losing deals not because of bad salesmanship. I know you're good at it. Most people can do sales really well, but you lose those deals because the signal never surfaces. So this agent makes sure that the right leads rise to the top automatically, daily, without delay. In 2025, the winners will not be the ones with the biggest list. They will be the ones who know where to look. So if you're thinking about developing something like this for yourself, then you can look into N8N as the orchestration layer. Every action would be routed, scored, and triggered through N8N. Then you can use Notion or Airtable as your database where leads are stored and enriched and sorted and surfaced by priority. You will need to use an LLM, whether it's OpenAI or Claude, as the engine behind the lead scoring. And this needs to be trained on your past wins and watching for patterns in your current list. And then you will use your CRM to track opens and link clicks and replies or page visits and use that to adjust scoring automatically. You don't need more leads. You just need better detection. So with an agent like this one, you would be waking up to a list of leads that are ranked by readiness, each one with a confidence score and a suggested call to action and context that makes follow-up effortless. You don't need to waste more hours. You need to stop sending just checking in emails. You only will be looking at your dashboard in the morning and you will see the top leads that the AI has pre-selected for you based on matching with your ideal client archetypes and provided annotated suggested actions. So this way, you're gonna stop your guesswork, you're gonna stop ghosting your leads and do what you're supposed to do. You win by doing the right thing sooner, not by doing more. And once you've identified the leads worth pursuing, then you need a system that follows up with them faster than you can type. So let's move to the second agent because this is where it gets interesting. So the second agent is something that we call the Conversion Concierge. And that's because deals don't die because of price. They die in the follow-up. And that's not just me saying this, it's research. Let me show you. Look, most founders obsess over lead generation, like I said, and then lose the deal because they don't follow up fast enough. According to Forrester, 74% of B2B deals are lost due to slow or misaligned follow-up. It's not bad copy, it's not the wrong fit, it's just delay. And according to InsideSales.com, your chances of qualifying a lead drop by 80% if you wait longer than 5 minutes to follow up. But guess what most sales teams do? They reply 24 to 48 hours later. Or worse, never at all. Look, you have already paid to acquire the lead. Don't lose them at the follow-up. This agent is going to help you avoid that. Like I said, we call it the Conversion Concierge, and it is a smart, polite, and always-on follow-up system. It is going to be watching for replies, for form fills, for page visits, and then follow up in your voice within seconds. It can send a thoughtful nudge, it can propose a few time slots, it can even drop a link for your leads to book a call directly in your calendar, or do the booking for you. Why would you want that? Well, because in 2025, speed is trust. And trust compounds when someone feels like you're already there. And no, this is not about being pushy. It is about being present right when the interest is highest. Because we all know that people nowadays want instant gratification. They have no patience. So look at follow-up not as a chore, but as your second chance to be remembered. You have done the hard part. You've earned the lead. So why lose now? Now you need an agent that is going to do the high ROI part for you, and that is activating the lead. So if you want to develop something like this by yourself, you need N8N as the nervous system behind everything. You will need your CRM, whether it's ConvertKit or HubSpot or whatever, to trigger follow-up based on lead activity and visit history and reply behavior. And then if you want to follow up via SMS, you're going to need Twilio. If you want to do it via email, you can use Mailgun to send follow-ups via your preferred channel and do that fast and automated. You will need to integrate with your calendar. We tend to use Google Calendar, but use whatever you have already. And obviously the reason why you need to integrate with the calendar is so you let the agent check availability in your calendar and insert real-time bookings and pick up your links and so forth. And then you need the agent to be GPT based so that it can handle common objections. And if you want it to pick up the phone, so you want call receptionist as well, then you need to look into that. What happens when you have an agent like this? Well, there's no more just following up emails that feel cold and inorganic. Instead, the lead opts in, the agent replies instantly, it proposes times, follows up later if need be, it books the call, it confirms automatically. You don't need to put in a lot more effort, but it feels like you've moved the pipeline forward. The average sales team waits 27 hours after a lead opt-in before replying, but the best agents, they wait 7 seconds. This is what makes the difference between cold leads and closed deals. And once the meeting is booked, you don't just want to show up, you want to show up ready. And that is exactly where the next agent is going to come in very, very handy for you. This third agent we call your call companion. Listen, in 2025, how you show up on calls is your brand. And I hear this a lot. You've booked the meeting and then now what? Most people wing it, and after having done probably tens of thousands of meetings in my corporate career and at least a couple hundred sales calls in our two businesses, I see that many times people show up unprepared. They forget half of what's being said, especially what the client said. They lose track of objections, and worst of all, they treat sales calls like a one-time performance instead of repeatable, scalable moments of conversion. But here's the truth. In sales, memory is a competitive advantage. People like to be remembered. The problem is that most salespeople choose not to have one, but this agent can come in and complement this. Your call companion is the behind-the-scenes operator that makes every conversation more powerful, more productive, and more profitable. And it does what I believe any top-tier assistant would need to do. Prepare you with lead context that is either pulled from your CRM or from social or any public information available. It joins the call. It can record the call through the tools that is integrated with. It can transcribe the entire call and extract key objections, decision criteria, and follow-up tasks. And then it can automatically update your CRM or your lead tracker. And this way you remember everything, and then clients remember you. Because showing up smart and sharp is what makes you stand out. Why? Because your memory and your messaging compound when you capture the moment. And in 2025, what gets remembered gets followed up on, and what gets followed up on gets closed. Look, most founders lose the sale in the first 24 hours after the call because they didn't take notes, they didn't follow up, and they didn't close the loop. Closing the loop is such an underrated element of your sales process. And this agent ensures that this never happens again. So what stack should you use? Well, N8N to orchestrate the entire flow, some recording tool, whether it's Fireflies or Otter or Fathom, for that real-time call transcription and audio to text processing, OpenAI to extract insights like buyer objections and urgency signals and pain points and next steps instantly, and then Notion or Airtable in order to auto-update your lead tracker. And obviously a great camera. Because if you're showing up to sales calls, webinars, or content recordings looking like a 2012 laptop cam, you're leaving trust and revenue on the table. And that is why, like I said, for years, I've been using the Insta360 Link 1. I still have this first version. Now I have the 2, which is the one that I'm using now to record this video, as well as the 2C, which is the more affordable version. I mean, it's the only webcam that I've tested that gets close to DSLR-like quality at a fraction of the price. I mean, you're looking at a 1/2-inch sensor, super crisp 4K video at 30 frames per second, and an AI-enhanced image quality, even in low light. Let me demonstrate that. As you can see, I turned off the lights in the studio. However, you're probably seeing me at more or less the same quality. If you don't believe me, we're gonna try and put side by side with my other camera so you can see the difference. Let me turn the lights back on. But honestly, it's not just about looking good. This camera actually moves with you. I mean, you can move and it will follow you, which is incredibly helpful when you're doing presentations or webinars, and if you're like me and you like to stand. I mean, my team used to think that I have a camera person behind every time we would be on the call because the camera would be moving with me. And the really nice thing is that it has AI-powered auto framing. So it auto frames you even if you move, and it has true focus autofocus. So it locks on you in milliseconds, and then you don't have to hunt the camera yourself. Plus, it has AI noise canceling microphone, which for a dog owner, it comes in very handy, or if you like to work in noisy environments, because it does not allow any background noise. Let me do a quick demonstration. I guess you can hear that. But how about now, if I'm talking, can you still hear me clapping? Probably not. Nobody can hear my dog barking either. Also, if you want to film vertically, you can do that. It is going to film you in uncropped 9:16 aspect ratio. You can obviously do the same with your Link 2C. And if you want to share your sketches or notes, you also have your desk view, and all you need to do is select desk view, and then it automatically starts filming your desk. I like to take notes on my iPad, and I like my team to see what I'm writing down, so this is what I use a lot of the time. And also, it has hand gestures. Yes, you got it right. So all you need to do is put up your hand this way, and then if you do this, it'll start scanning me like I'm a whiteboard. Or if you do this, and then this, it is going to zoom in on you. It's one of the smartest tools that I believe I've added to my setup, and I've been carrying this thing with me for years. Look, in 2025, how you show up on calls is your brand. So if you're doing client calls or sales calls or content and want to show up like a pro, then Insta360 team have a great offer. You can hit the link in the description to grab your link 2, which is the one I'm filming on, or the more affordable version, which is the 2C. For the link 2, you've got a 25% off on Amazon. For the link 2C, you've got a 33% off on Amazon. And for the first 10 orders, you get a free tripod as well. All you need to do is add it to cart and then use promo code LINKWEBCAM. This way, you can upgrade your video game without upgrading your entire setup. Thank you again, Insta360. I have loved using your device for so many years, and I'm very fortunate to be partnering with you today. So let's come back to our agent. Why would you want something like this? What would happen? Well, most founders end the sales call and then start 5 new tasks manually. They rewrite notes from memory, they update CRM, they prep follow-ups, they loop in ops, they wonder what they missed. But this agent can replace all of that. By the time the Zoom tab closes, your CRM is updated. All the objections and insights are extracted and added to your leads tracker. Your key action items are flagged, and your next steps, not only are they already captured, but they're in motion. Your team already knows of them. There is no more toggling tabs and digging through transcripts. You will remember everything, and your clients are going to remember you. This is what it looks like when your sales calls become conversion assets, not just conversations. Because in 2025, the call is no longer the end of the pitch. It should be, and it is, the beginning of a fully orchestrated deal flow. And once the call is complete, it's time to move from talking about the deal to sealing it. This is where the 4th agent is going to be very useful. We call this one the deal catalyst, and it is going to step in to pick up where the Zoom ended. Look, imagine the sales call went well, and the client said, "Send me the details," and then silence. Not because they changed their mind, but because you lost momentum. How many times has this happened to you? I know this happened to me as well. Deals don't die from objections. They die from delay. Most businesses lose momentum after the sales call because you said the right things, the prospect was interested, and then what? You vanished into proposal purgatory. I know how this happens. Day pass, the client forgets, you lose the edge. But look, in sales, time kills trust and friction kills follow through. That's why you need a deal catalyst. It doesn't just help you send a proposal. I mean, anyone can do that. It builds a momentum machine that bridges the gap between yes and signed. This is an agent that listens to that last sales call or checks your lead tracker to see if the lead has already accepted, and then pulls the details that matter, the scope, the pricing, the pain points, customizes your proposal, designs it into a polished deck or a branded document, and then sends it, tracks it, and follows up until you get the signature automatically. It becomes your closer behind the scenes, and it's responsive, it's personalized, and it's fast. Why would you want something like this? Well, because most founders overestimate the power of their pitch and underestimate the power of their post-call system. If your follow-up is not fast enough and clear, you give your prospect time to reconsider. I've been there. I know what I'm talking about. Momentum is a fragile asset, and in the absence of clarity, doubt is going to creep in. And this agent is going to help you remove that doubt for your client. It gives your leads exactly what they need to say yes, a beautiful, relevant proposal, a clear path forward, and a subtle nudge right when they need it. All without manual prep, formatting stress, or "did you see my email?" kind of follow-ups. And if you want to build it yourself, start with N8N to orchestrate the entire flow. And then you can use Google Docs or Notion to store your dynamic proposal templates. You can use a tool like Gamma, for example. You can probably use Canva as well to instantly turn those raw content pieces into polished visual proposals with very little design effort. DocuSign to get your signature on the contract, and then ConvertKit or whatever you're using to send out the proposal and the reminder emails and so forth. Look, AI does not replace the art of selling. That needs to stay with you, with your sales team. What it does is it removes the friction that keeps it from closing. And with an agent like this, what happens is you wrap the call, and by the time they refresh their inbox, they have a custom proposal that is written like it was handcrafted, a signing link that is ready to go, or the document ready for signature, a reminder that is queued if they wait too long. This way, there's no more "did you send the proposal?" or "should we nudge them again?" or "is the contract ready yet?" kind of conversations. You remember everything, and your client remembers you, like I said. And they're going to see clarity, they're going to feel confidence, and they will be signing faster. And that's what this agent is going to deliver for you. Because your next sale doesn't only depend on your pitch, it depends on what happens immediately after. So now let's make sure what happens after the sale is just as strong. You need to look into an onboarding orchestrator. So let's move to agent number 5. Look, in my opinion, the real sale starts after the signature. Most founders think their job is done once the contract is signed, but clients don't remember the pitch most of the time. They remember your process. They remember how they felt in the first 24 hours after they signed with you. Did they get silence or did they get support? Did they get a welcome message or did they hear crickets? Did they get clarity or confusion? This agent is going to ensure that every new client feels like they made the right decision instantly. It is going to trigger your onboarding flow the moment that the deal is closed. It is going to send a personalized welcome message. It is going to share project access or links or any materials or next steps. It is going to introduce key team members or tools that your client needs to be using and pace the journey with automated milestone check-ins. And this way, buyers don't get buyer's remorse when they feel guided. They actually feel proud for the decision that they made. This agent turns handshakes into systems of trust. Why? Because onboarding is not logistics, it's leverage. Because churn doesn't happen at the end of a contract. Churn starts in the first 7 days. And when clients feel forgotten, guess what? You don't just lose revenue. You also lose referrals, renewals, and reputation. So if you do want to create this one for yourself, start with N8N. You probably expected me to say that at this point. And then you need AI video creation tool so that you can create welcome videos with warmth and with clarity. You can use Notion to host your onboarding hub and your timelines and links and things like that. At least this is what we do. And then whatever tool you're using now to deliver your onboarding journey as a drip, whether you use it or you do that via email or you have a platform that you're using. And what happens is that within minutes of the deal, the client gets a welcome video with context, with warmth, with direction. They get access to a Notion hub that gives them access to everything they need, basically. Maybe a short email sequence that walks them through the key milestones and what to expect. So this way, there's no more, hey, just checking in on your onboarding, or hey, have you been able to access so-and-so, or them asking you, where's the login again, or I'm not sure what happens next, because a confused client does not ask questions. They ghost you, and you don't want that. You want that your business becomes one of the few that not only closes deals, but also compounds trust. Because what starts strong stays strong. And here's the truth. AI is never going to replace your sales team, but it will replace delays, distractions, and dropped balls that cost you revenue. It is not about replacing the human. It's about amplifying the human with agents that never forget, never sleep, and never stop optimizing. Look, every part of your sales journey, from the first click to the final invoice, can now be done and move forward with precision. You do not need to work more or hustle more. You just need smarter handoffs, because in 2025, businesses won't be judged on what they sell, but on how well they sell it. And in my opinion, the founders who win in 2025 are not the loudest, they're not the best sellers, and they're not the most persuasive. They're the ones who move fastest with the cleanest systems behind them. And if you're ready to build your own AI-powered sales machine, then you can use what I just showed you, or you can come join us inside of our school community, which is completely free, where we help people just like you learn to use AI, whether it's in your existing business or if you want to start a new one. We have free challenges twice a month. We have Hive halls also twice a month. You can come with your questions. We're gonna be happy to do our best to help you. And it's not just me, it's almost 10,000 other people who are on the exact same path as you. I'm very, very excited and hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope it gave you some ideas of what is possible with AI today and how you can use AI to improve your sales tremendously. And if you like this video, make sure to like it, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so, and also share this video with anyone in your circle of friends or family who you think needs to learn more about AI agents that could potentially support them in their sales processes. Until next time, I suggest you go ahead and watch this video over here, and I'll see you soon. Bye!